guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'm going to go over 2 entertaining articles dealing with crazy exes. The first article is dealing with one who's crazy and evil, who completely loses it. She's a soon-to-be ex-wife, upon finding out that obviously in the divorce, she's not going to get the house and she's not going to get full custody of the kid. So what does she do? She spikes her husband's drink with antifreeze, and he almost goes to the great beyond. And also, the kid, I believe, got sick too on something else he drank. Well, you're going to see what happens to her. And the second story, the main event, is about a gal who's a firefighter in Florida, so not too far from me, who completely loses it when her boyfriend, he breaks up with her, moves on to another girl. And how does she handle that? By she and her mom and aunt getting together and trespassing on his property and throwing tampons in it. Lots of them. And I thought it'd be a pretty funny one to go over here about the crazies out there, as there's nothing like crazy exes, and you guys really got to be careful. But of course, we all know darn well that if guys were to behave in the same way, they get way worse, and you all know that. So the first one, titled, Connecticut Mom Accused of Poisoning Estranged Husband Amid Bitter Custody Battle. Says here, a Connecticut mom is accused of poisoning her estranged husband with antifreeze as the pair was locked in a bitter custody battle for their children. Kristen Hogan, 33 years old, was arrested in Ridgefield and charged with 2 counts of attempted you-know-what and 1 count of interfering with an officer on Friday, according to documents released by the Connecticut State Police. My cousin's husband is a cop in Connecticut. I got to freaking message him to see if he knows anybody that was on the scene or dealing with this. Hogan allegedly poisoned wine and iced tea at her estranged husband's home with ethylene glycol, the main ingredient in antifreeze. Notice they say allegedly, but then I guess legally they have to. Who else did it? Her husband, who was not named in court documents, drank a small amount of wine stored in his fridge on August 10th, but soon realized something was wrong after repeatedly waking up sick throughout the night. The next day, he continued to vomit and feel ill, so he called his father, who advised him to have his mother, who was nearby, check on him. His mother arrived and found him slurring his words, staggering, and vomiting, then immediately rushed him to the hospital. At the hospital, doctors initially suspected a stroke, but after monitoring his systems, they identified signs of the ethylene glycol poisoning. Man, freaking evil. And by the way, I have a link to this article. You can take a look at her. She looks nuts. He was transferred to the ICU and placed on dialysis for renal failure, where he informed the doctors about drinking the wine. The bottle of wine was initially opened 5 days before he fell ill while having people over for a dinner party. It was then corked and stored in his fridge. The husband then met with Ridgefield police detectives and told them he believed Hogan, his soon-to-be ex-wife, had poisoned the wine on August 7th, the day he was supposed to meet Hogan at a court hearing, which he never showed up for. I know a lot of you guys are like, how'd she get in the house? Well, apparently she's allowed in. While he was at court, he received an alert showing Hogan's cell phone had connected to his Wi-Fi and uploaded data. The father explained that Hogan, with whom he shares a child, had full unrestricted access to the home. There you go. That's a major problem. Now, obviously, she's not living there. He's there with the kids, and there's a reason for that, obviously, because she's nuts. I mean, think about it. This is all because he's likely to get the house and the kids, full custody. Obviously, this chick has got problems because you know darn well, overwhelmingly, they always go with the mom. He also told investigators that the last person other than himself to be in the residence prior to him drinking the already opened wine. Hogan initially denied all wrongdoing when confronted by the police. Of course she did. Duh. Women and accountability. Detectives seized the wine and submitted it to the Connecticut Forensic Laboratory, where it tested positive for the glycol. Investigators also found that Hogan's cell phone contained searches for several toxic substances, including potassium cyanide and monoglycine glycol. I can't pronounce this shit right. As well as questions about how much of these substances will kill you. How stupid is that? I mean, it's not like she's crazy, but stupid. Usually it's crazy, but not stupid. They're going to look at her records here on her phone when she's looking up. Right there. I can see her defense attorney. Her defense attorney's going to be like, oh my God. Defense attorney's going to be like, take the fucking plea deal, bitch. Investigators also found that Hogan's cell phone... I read that part. She then claimed that she was confused about the chemicals, and then stated she recognized the word cyanide from the television show Psych, according to the arrest affidavit. When all else fails, play dumb. The only thing we're not hearing about are the fucking tears. This chick is evil. Hogan also acknowledged buying a bottle of the glycol in late July, but insisted she was using that specific chemical to clean the carpet at her mother's house. Sure, honey. Let me guess. That's probably the first time she ever purchased that chemical. When questioning about the bottle of wine and her husband testing positive for that, she denied poisoning the wine. Well, of course she did. It was a coincidence that she did all those searches and bought the stuff, and he happened to get sick on the wine that had that substance in there. Eventually, she confessed to mixing the toxic liquid into her estranged husband's wine, allegedly stating that she never wanted to off him, but just wanted to make him sick as payback for being, wait for it, mentally abusive. Mentally abusive, huh? Well, okay, during their marriage, he forgot to put the toilet seat down that one time. Mentally abusive. He forgot to take the recycling out on recycling night. Mentally abusive. He's getting the kids in the house. Obviously, somebody else sees her as mental. The investigating officer then asked how much wine was in the bottle, to which she stated it was mostly full. Hogan described the wine as the color red and confessed to bringing the bottle of the glycol and dumping an unknown amount into the wine bottle. Isn't this the same chick who said, nope, I don't know what you're talking about? Detectives also informed Hogan that their child, who she shares with her estranged husband, may have potentially consumed some of the poison, which she adamantly denied being possible. Well, she also put it in the iced tea. By the way, guys, I want you guys to take a moment and Google Henry VIII, King Henry VIII, and punishment for poisoning. Because under King Henry, even though he was psycho, he did a few things right in terms of poisoning carried a horrible, barbaric punishment. Imagine if that happened in this situation. Take a moment and Google that, and you'll see what I'm talking about here. However, their child was hospitalized in late September for symptoms similar to those of the father. There you go. It's just like, if I can't have them, nobody can have them. Evil. Hogan stated it was only the wine and the iced tea, and nobody else knew she was tampering with the victim's drinks, the arrest affidavit said. Her estranged husband told the police that he believes her motive for poisoning him was the fact that he would become full owner of the residence and would gain full-time custody of their child. She is currently being held on a $1 million bond. And there you go, guys. It's freaking crazy. Freaking evil. And this is the mother. And the kid obviously drank it. But you guys have heard stories where these crazy moms, they lose it, and the children or child suffers the ultimate price because she doesn't want the husband to get him. I mean, my God, if I'm this husband, the soon-to-be ex-husband of hers, I'd be doing everything in my power to make sure she stays behind bars for a long freaking time after that. Freaking her own kid, freaking crazy here. Unhinged. And like I said, Google the Henry VIII thing and poisoning here and see if you think, well, I got to watch what I say here, but you guys can connect the dots with my meaning here. But no mercy in someone like that. Next one, and the main reason for the article, because we'll end this on a more humorous note other than something awful like the previous story, all about a gal who got dumped. She's a firefighter. She's from Florida. And, didn't take it too well. Titled, Orange County firefighter, Deltona resident, accused of throwing tampons in her ex's yard. And a shout out to Tom and all you guys that sent over this story. A bunch of you guys sent this over. SSM, you got to do this story. So it starts off, it says here, a Deltona woman who works as an Orange County firefighter was accused of throwing tampons that she painted red in her boyfriend's yard. And the Volusia Sheriff's deputy said on October 3rd. Gabrielle Franz, 28, whom Volusia deputy said was unhappy because her ex-boyfriend had a new girlfriend, dumped 75 tampons in his yard at 10:08 p.m. September 29th, according to the arrest report. Come on, I'm going to say what you're all thinking here. Bitches be crazy. They'll lose it when you freaking replace them and move on. And by the way, this article, what I'm reading here is actually kind of different parts of two different articles, which I'll show the links to. And that way then, if you're following one article and say, hey, that doesn't match up, that's because I'm taking different parts of articles for the story. It goes on, it says, Franz was charged with 2 counts of misdemeanor stalking. A judge released her from the Volusia County Branch Jail on her own recognizance, court records showed Friday, October 3rd. Deputies said the new girlfriend contacted them on October 2nd regarding the incident. The couple reviewed their security footage, and they saw a dark-colored pickup truck slowly passing their house on the night of September 29th. The couple said the truck appeared to make sure no other cars were around before circling back to their home. A person in the back of the truck is seen throwing tampons into the yard. The video footage also allegedly showed a woman running on foot into the yard and throwing more tampons. Oh, for God's sake. You know, again, if a guy would do something like this, not that it would be with a guy tampons, unless maybe he's from Portland, Oregon, or certain parts of California, but if another guy was throwing something equivalent, you know he'd get way worse. We all know it. When deputies viewed the home video surveillance, they saw a truck that looked like Franz's with people throwing the tampons in the yard. The couple told deputies they suspected Franz because of the social media posts and people telling them that Franz was not happy that they were together, the report states. Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. She can't just move on, so she has to, you know. The new girlfriend told deputies that she wanted to press charges. The ex-boyfriend, who was at work when the deputies were investigating, said he also wants to file charges, the deputies said. Good. Justice has to be served here. Firefighters targeted in tampon attack. As a social media post show that both the victims are firefighters, with Franz's ex-boyfriend serving as lieutenant. They work in different counties. The female victim posted on Facebook that Franz, along with her mother and aunt, drove past the house where she lives with a male and threw 100 tampons with suspected blood on them into our yard and driveway. You know, they say they painted them, but imagine if it actually was blood. It's disgusting. She says, what they didn't know is that our cameras caught every second of it. Firefighters are supposed to stand for honor and integrity, yet she chose to do something like that and was arrested for stalking. That's how you ruin a badge and reputation. She should be canned. The mother and aunt planned the tampon attack. When deputies contacted Franz, she initially said she didn't know where her ex-boyfriend lived. Here another one, caught red-handed on fucking video. I don't know where he lives. What are you talking about? Women and accountability. But deputies confronted her with the surveillance video recordings of her truck seen at the home. Not my truck. Somebody stole my truck. They even told her that the license plate readers caught the truck at a nearby intersection, headed in the direction of the home 2 minutes before the tampons were dumped in the yard. Franz changed her story, deputies wrote in the report. Franz then told the deputies that her mother and aunt visiting from out of state hatched the plan to dump the tampons in her ex-boyfriend's yard, the arrest report said. So first she denies it, and then she's busted on the video, and she's like, they did it. It was their idea. Throws her aunt and mom under the bus. Again, women and accountability. Franz said they purchased the tampons and painted them red. They loaded the feminine hygiene products into the truck, and she drove to the home where they threw them on the lawn. Franz maintained she didn't do anything and that it was not her idea. It doesn't matter. Okay, let's say it wasn't her idea. Bitch, it doesn't matter. It was your truck. We see you and your aunt throwing the tampons out there like you're, throwing like seeds and shit in the grass. Tough shit. Franz is the victim's ex-girlfriend and used to live with him. So deputies told her it was irrelevant whether or not the tampon attack was her idea, the report states. Given the fact that this plan was thought up, tampons were purchased, painted red to make it look like they were used, loaded in the vehicle, and thrown in the yard, demonstrates a course of conduct which evidences a continuality of purpose with the sole purpose to harass and serves no legitimate purpose, deputies concluded in their report. The Orange County Fire Rescue Department confirmed that Franz was a firefighter with their organization. However, she's been put on paid leave, and she has now been released on bond. She's making the department look like jackasses. They probably can't fire her because there's probably some rules and things like that. Maybe she's in the union, I don't know, but frankly, she should be canned. The News Journal tried to contact Franz, but her voicemail box was full, unable to accept messages. So there you go, guys. The first story, that's really sad. And I hope that chick spends a lot of time behind bars for her husband, ex-husband, soon-to-be ex-husband, and her kid, I mean, it's bad enough, the husband, but the kid, God's sakes. But this chick, it's just a crazy bitch. End of story. And it could have been worse, yeah, but you know what? So, guys, this is what I tell you guys, that when there's a breakup, they either become obsessed with you in a way that they want you back, or hell hath no fear, they lose their freaking mind to get revenge. Obviously, we can see this one is here. So anyhow, guys, a funny one for to start your week off. Hope you guys enjoy it. All right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. And guys, you find a good article you want me to cover or a story you got to share, send it my way, strongsuccessfulmail@gmail.com. And if it's a good one, I'll definitely cover it. And be sure to like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.